following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Talkin' Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Kyle Yeomans.
It is a wonderful Wednesday edition of Talkin' Cowboys, presented by Tostitos, helping fans get in the game. Welcome back into the SWBC studios at the Star in Frisco, and boy, do we have a show for you. One of the best matchups of the season.
Are you hype?
Oh, man, I'm ready to talk about this one, man.
You hype?
Chiefs offense, Cowboys defense. Ooh, this is going to be a fun one, and we've got plenty to talk about on this one. As always, Heckma Harrison, Isaiah Stanback, Rob Phillips. We've got Chris Beam in the back. Everybody good? Everybody buckled up, ready to go for this one?
Strapped in, sir.
That's more like it.
Yes.
It's not really buckled in. It's more of like strapped down, make sure the roller coaster's ready. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Rob.
No, right, yeah.
I didn't mean to bring
baby
up
seat around both shoulders.
Harness.
Yes, yeah. Get the harness going. I'm ready.
Get the headrest and the helmet on. You're about to buckle up and get ready to go, Heckma. You ready?
Of course.
You need a seatbelt
You
pillow.
always ready.
What are you talking about?
Always go around your neck.
You need a seatbelt pillow just in case it rubs the neck.
Good point.
Protection.
If I ever get on one again.
That is the most bougie thing I think I've ever heard you say.
The kids have to have it.
Really, though?
Yeah, because the kids always fall asleep.
Did you
with their
grow up
neck.
with one?
Heck no.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No.
So I think you and I turned out fine.
I'm like MC Light. I'm a roughneck, you know. But the kids nowadays, they're not built the same.
Oh.
Truth.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Evolution.
I'll get back to you in a couple years.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know.
Oh, a couple years. Oh.
I mean,
Wow.
I'm not putting a
No, I mean,
number on
said
it.
No, you said it.
I'm not
couple
putting
is two, right?
No.
Isn't a couple two? Isn't that the reference?
Two, right?
A few
No.
is three.
Okay, a few. Let's say a few years.
Oh, no, don't backpedal now.
I
Don't
ain't
you Trayvon
backpedaling.
Diggs
I
me.
ain't doing.
Don't you-
You know what? I'm
Trayvon
setting the
Diggs.
stopwatch right now.
Don't you Trayvon Diggs me.
No, sir.
Hey, Chris Beam, please,
No,
please
sir.
clip that, please. Thank you.
November 17th, 2023.
You stop
At
this.
9:02 a.m.
You stop this. I'm going to get like a message from Rob at that day, and he's going to be like, so?
Put it in the calendar.
I'm going to be like, what are you talking about? You're crazy.
Hell yes.
Oh, so we are going to preview the Cowboys defense versus that Chiefs offense, and the Chiefs offense finding a rhythm against the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday Night Football, put up 41 points, the majority of those coming in the second half. But before we get into that, anything come out of yesterday? It was a day off for the Cowboys, so kind of a slow Tuesday, right, Rob?
It was slow news-wise.
It's awesome.
We touched on Jerry Jones on the Fan yesterday and what the right tackle situation might look like if Tyron Smith comes back as early as this week. Other than that, I mean, hadn't been a whole lot of news in the old bin there.
One thing I did want to ask was, is there any significance of having DeMarcus Lawrence back on the sideline again? The fact that he was on the sideline, he hasn't activated that practice window yet. We haven't gotten to that point, but he was
close.
around, right?
Yeah, he was, and I think I think that gives some juice on the sideline. And we talked about he kind of sets the tone for this defense when he's been out there, and he's also ramping up his rehab. I mean, he's doing more during practice off to the side with Britt Brown than we've seen. So I think he is getting closer. I'm trying to think if there's any injuries. CeeDee Lamb had the arm contusion that kept him out of the second half, but I think if they weren't up by 40 points, he probably would have been back in there. I think he's supposed to practice today, most likely.
That's good. And Heckma, I know you've been on a sideline like that before, and you like the sounds of the sideline too.
Love it.
In terms of the video, and that was released yesterday. But did you like seeing DeMarcus Lawrence back out there instead of being in like a field level suite and dapping up the guys when they come by? At least actually having a presence on the sideline.
I mean, Tank is one of the unquestioned leaders of your team, and it's got to be killing him to be sidelined and not be a part of what's going on. just got to imagine all of the work that goes into this for these guys as brothers, and an injury kind of ostracizes you from the group, and you finally can, you're getting back to yourself, and you feel healthy, and obviously you can walk on your foot again. You want to be down on the sideline in any capacity. I wouldn't want to be away. I'd be back there with Chris. If there was something like something like that, because it's something that you do every day. Football is a part of it, and not only that, like I said, he's one of the unquestioned leaders of this team.
Heckma loses his voice, and he's in the back with like cough drops and things.
Boy,
we're sitting there with Chris.
I'll be on here hoarse. Don't you worry about it.
What is it like getting a leader like that back, Isaiah?
To Heckman's point, I mean, he's one of the leaders, the leaders that are definitely known on this team. I think they miss his presence, and anytime you can have a guy like that present in whatever capacity he can be, I'm glad that the team's allowing him to be on the sideline. Sometimes they throw guys up in the suite or in the stands, typically the suite here, especially here in Dallas. But it's awesome when they can allow those guys to be a part of it, because I mean, he's a hype man. He's a hype man when he's playing. He's a hype man when he's not playing. And it's always good to have your boys there, giving you that extra juice. But yeah, in terms of when you're not playing, it sucks. It sucks when you're used to being one of the guys, and even if you're just a special teamer, right? I mean, you don't want to be on the outside looking in, but especially when you're one of the leaders on this team, the last thing you want to be is feeling like you're just isolated to just being with Britt Brown, which is not a bad thing. Britt's awesome, but it's not where you want to be.
It's not fun either.
Yeah, it's not
right?
fun.
It's not
Definitely
designed
not
to be fun.
Definitely
right?
not fun.
This is usually a great tank week for the media. This kind of game.
Yeah.
And obviously he's still on IR, but there's been games where the Cowboys have matched up against a great offense, and how are they going to stop them? And I'm thinking of like 2018 against the Saints.
Yeah.
And he will stand up in front of the media and kind of send a message through the media about the confidence level of the defense. He's
coming after you.
He's always had that, I remember that game in particular. That was the best defensive performance in a while for the Cowboys. So it's that kind of matchup again. How do they stop this Chiefs offense, man? It's a tasty one.
They're going to need every ounce of that confidence going into this game. Cowboys and the Chiefs have combined for 835 total yards per game entering the matchup, and that's the sixth most all time in the NFL. Sixth most since 1950 in a matchup later than Week 11. So, I mean, up there with Rams and Chiefs in 2018, which we saw what that kind of game turned into.
He's drunk.
Broncos, Chargers, Saints and Panthers, Eagles, Patriots, all of those in 2013, 2011, and then it's the Chiefs and the Cowboys coming up this week, and this is going to be a fun one. And like I mentioned, the Chiefs are getting back on track. And first off, I want to kind of dial it back a little bit for the Chiefs' standpoint and sort of deal with what the slow start dealt with. What made them get off to such a slow start? What were they doing wrong, and how have they since fixed that, Heckma?
Yeah, I think initially teams were getting pressure. It all derives from the Super Bowl. I'm gonna say a word that's triggering for you, El Rabo, and that's blueprint. I think teams saw in the Super Bowl that what Patrick Mahomes does when he gets under pressure. Some of the cardinal rules of sports apply. You can't throw late, can't throw across your body. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes has an IQ, and he's a great decision maker, but you saw at the beginning of the season, he was starting to have some location problems. And I think the pressure was starting to get to him a bit as well. I don't know, per se, if there's anything that he hasn't seen defensively, so it's hard for me to imagine that he's confused by anything. I just think that some of the decisions that he made clearly pointed out, and that's how you started to have those turnovers. And look, just like with any other sport, whether we always use those boxing analogies, there's a guy, Prince Nassim Hamed. He was a boxer back in the day. You may not remember, bantamweight guy. He would hit you anywhere except for under your feet. I mean, he was that good. But the cardinal rule of boxing is if you cannot escape a left hook, you shouldn't be boxing.
Not boxing.
Right? You shouldn't be boxing. And finally, somebody cracked the code. I think Tampa may have cracked the code. And some of those cardinal rules of football, can't throw late across your body, some of the things that he's been able to get away with because of his superior athleticism. I'm not saying he's in decline, but some of those things are starting to catch up with him.
It certainly seemed that way early on because Patrick Mahomes had never been stood up. I mean, it had been to a point where he had never really just laid an egg. I mean, there were statistics about it all the way through the early parts of his career where he hadn't thrown under a certain amount of yards or hadn't thrown a pick here, hadn't thrown a pick there. I mean, he was as good as anybody to start a career in the history of the NFL, but then he pitter-pattered through the middle of the season, and I think you're right. I think it came from that Super Bowl and it carried over, but it's also that offensive line, right?
True.
That offensive line is not as good as what it used to be.
Yeah, and so I have to. I don't say I have to. I'm blessed to be able to be an insider for another podcast platform, and we had addressed this a couple weeks back when they were 3-4, and I pointed directly to the offensive line, and the offensive line is totally brand new. Totally brand new. These guys have 5 new guys up front.
Wow.
Starting from the left side, these guys drafted Creed Humphrey, their center, drafted him this year. Trey Smith, their right guard, drafted him this year. They had a guy, their last year's draftee, the right tackle, Lucas Niang. He was a 2020 draft pick, but he opted out of the season because of the COVID.
Yeah.
You got Joe Thuney that they picked up from the Patriots, and then Orlando Brown they picked up from the Ravens. These guys, literally all 5 guys are brand new. So you're expecting Patrick Mahomes to still be Patrick Mahomes with 5 new guys that don't have any continuity. The things that we've been talking about in terms of Collins and Terrence Steele, and we don't want to move these guys around because of those it might mess with the continuity. Imagine moving all 5 pieces. So that's what these guys have sustained. And I was one of the ones to stand up on the table and say, it's only a matter of time.
The light switch is coming.
It's only a matter of time because you're presenting teams recognize that there was a whole new front. So what are you going to do if you're a defensive coordinator? We're lighting them up. Let's light them up. Let's bring pressure because these guys can't figure it out. They don't know how to pass stuff off yet. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know exactly what to do. So that was the issue early on. And then Patrick Mahomes, I'm still Patrick Mahomes. So I'm still going to get out the pocket and do the things that I do. And what does that force you to do? Start making inerrant throws. Start making throws that you used to be able to make that you just say, my guys are better than your guys, and we're just going to make plays regardless. And guess what? Sometimes those 50-50 balls, and those 50-50 balls went the other way. So that's what happened early on with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's why these guys are so dangerous because everybody in the whole country who watches football understands how dangerous these guys are offensively, the weapons that they have, the offensive coordinator that they have, the head coach that they have, and the knowledge that he has. He's a Jedi. I don't think there's any questions in regards to that. And these guys are dangerous as they continue to get better. Okay, that's all they're going to continue to do is get better every single game as these guys continue to get familiarized with each other.
Yeah, it's kind of, the Sunday night game against Las Vegas, and obviously they went off in that game. 41 points, got back to doing what they do. There was a graphic up there about how much less Pat Mahomes is being blitzed this year compared to the past. It's like 10% drop. The teams are playing more coverage. And honestly, that's what you're seeing with Dak to some degree. Teams are like, look, we can't do this. He's burning us every time. And so that's the challenge with the great quarterbacks. So they're doing more of that. And they haven't gotten a lot of variance in their offense in terms of targets. You look at the targets in there. We all know about Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. They're amazing players. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, Tyreek's got 111 targets this year. Kelce, 89. The next guy is Hardman with 56.
Huge drop-off.
So, statistically, the Cowboys are the best offense in the league. But I think you can make the argument that although maybe there's a similar approach to trying to play the Cowboys offense, Cowboys have a little more balance in terms of what they can do to counteract that. And the Chiefs don't like to run that much anyway. So I think that's part of it, and I think Isaiah just spoke to it too. Pat Mahomes, there's probably some frustration there when you get played like that. You want to hit the big plays, and maybe he was forcing some things, and that's where the turnovers came.
And also, not to mention, an added element to their offense will be back this week, or is expected to be back, and that's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah. He had been out for a couple weeks, missed since week 5.
Sit out like another week.
What was that?
Can't he just sit out like
just one more?
Just chill.
Now, it's not a foregone conclusion, but his practice window has started, and there is a great chance, quote unquote, from Andy Reid that he does find the way on the field.
There was reports last week that he was practicing very well,
getting ready. But basically, last week they said, no, not so fast. This week
let's hold you out for the Cowboys.
We're gonna get ready for this one. By the way, kind of going along the same lines of career and season success, Dak Prescott having a better season at the moment than Patrick Mahomes. But Mahomes is the career leader in passer rating, at least during his time. This is the 4th time that the season leader and the career leader in passer rating have met in the same game past week 11 or entering the week since 1990. The other matchups, this is a fun one. Jim Harbaugh versus Steve Young in 95. John Elway versus Joe Montana, another Kansas City, Joe Montana. 1993, San Francisco, Joe Montana, and Phil Simms. So that was in 1990. So, man, this has got the feelings of a historic matchup, but
instant classic.
Yeah,
instant.
And it's guys. I mean, Pat Mahomes has done so much already, but he's ascending.
Yeah.
And we know Dak Prescott's ascending. That's what's fun
exciting
about it.
about it.
Like the opener was great because it's Brady, and Brady's a legend and all that. But these are two guys that are, going to be going at it. They don't play that often, but they're going to be right at the top for years to come. That's what's cool about it.
But I just want to go back to what you were saying about defenses playing coverage. I think all around the league, that's what defenses have started to do. You see more big nickel all over because teams are willing to say, I'm going to rush 3, rush 4, and drop everybody else back into coverage because you're giving up so much in the passing league by staying with conventional linebackers and not hybrid safeties that can cover out in space. And I just look, they never have, like you pointed out, they never have really been balanced with a running game. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, him coming back doesn't unnerve me simply because I feel like our defense is playing well enough to this point that they can nullify whatever impact that he'll have on this game. For me, I just want to know how Dan Quinn schemes this up from a coverage standpoint, because if you go back to the games where the Tennessee Titans play them, and just saying when they came up against some pretty good defenses, that offense struggled.
They went into a shell of themselves.
Right.
That Titans game specifically, I went back and watched the first half, and the Titans just flat out dominated them.
Not only that, go back to the Bills game. And you see those games where defenses that they don't have to sacrifice by coming after him. You talk about teams blitzing Patrick Mahomes, and I saw a stat against Dak about how he is rated when teams try to blitz. He's picking guys apart.
He's the top blitz passer in the NFL right now.
And I think Mahomes has been since whenever, going back a couple years. Like,
but
he's the best rating.
That just talks to his IQ. Now, if you're a team that's going to come after him with 2 or 3 down linemen, of course he's just going to turn around and hand the ball to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So you still have to stay in a base to some degree. I just think that for our DBs, for our secondary, our safeties, this game is going to be a big game for them because they're going to have to play sound.
Without question. Yeah.
These guys don't run the ball much. They're not traditional in that way. They understand that that's not where their strength of their team is. The strength of their team is getting the ball in their playmakers' hands by any means necessary, and that's not necessarily coming back and handing the ball off. These guys run more screens than probably any team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And that's how they get their running plays.
Exactly.
That's their running plays. Yeah. So I know people are, these guys, we can shut down their run. Yeah, you might be able to shut down their run, but these guys are going to run screens all day long.
And that's like a long handoff.
That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
It's almost like, how do you define a run these days? Because the analytics –
behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I almost said geeks because some people don't think like you should even run the ball anymore. I think there's value in running the ball, but I think there is value also in if they're loading the box. It's kind of what the Cowboys did against the Bucs. It's just
spread it
stuff
out
to the outside. They do it with Tyreek Hill. I think Darrell Williams had 9 catches for 11 yards. Yeah. So you can kind of stuff that into his run production.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
He's not even, it's, I guess, attribute-wise, him and Clyde Edwards, they're night and day. They're night and day skill-wise. So if Clyde Edwards decides to make his comeback this week, which I'm pretty sure that's why they held him out last week, we can expect him to have at least 5 or 6 screens in the game, and then you have to watch him on the screens. You have to watch Tyreek Hill on the screens. You have to watch Kelsey on the screens. Mm-hmm. So that, again, to that point, it's a long handoff, and that's what they are they're perfectly fine. People talking about how they don't have a run game, and that's how they get their yardage inside the box.
Well, even in a blowout win against the Raiders, 41-14 was the score, and Patrick Mahomes still hit 50 pass attempts. He still went 35 of 50 for 400 plus and 5 touchdowns. Yeah. They're going to throw the ball around, no matter if it's a big lead, not so much. They don't really have that salt away, tough back like a Zeke, who can really kind of put it on the ground and just keep rolling all the way down the field. Now, I know Tony Pollard did that against Atlanta quite a bit in that second half, which was great too. But I don't know if Williams is that guy. I don't know if Clyde Edwards-Helaire, especially coming off an injury, is that guy. However, they're going to spread it out. I mean, they're going to spread that thing out, and they're going to get it to their weapons, and they are all very dangerous, especially when they have a little bit of space. And that's one thing that I want to hit when we come back on the other side of the break. How much space are the Cowboys going to give them? Because we know this already. The big play is a big deal for the Cowboys defense. Can they snuff that out, and how do they plan on snuffing that out when we return with more Talking Cowboys?
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
It's a great people, great pay replay here on Talking Cowboys. You've already heard it. Jason Witten has joined that Caliber Collision team. You can join him to do great work with great people for great pay and apply right this second, right now on jobs at Caliber.com. That's jobs at Caliber.com. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? Go apply.
Freaking get this money.
Dude, there's so much money
get
out
your
there.
Cal Human out. Yes,
hold up.
Get your
Oh,
KY.
yeah.
Get your KY.
It's like what Mari said to CD a couple weeks ago. You don't like money?
Yeah, right.
You're getting all these fines for what's going on. Yeah,
for some socks.
Yeah. CD said pregame after the game. He said pregame. I talked to the league official about his thing. I think we're good on the uniform stuff. Yeah,
he's going to get a FedEx.
FedEx packages come early on Mondays.
Yeah. He's going to get a FedEx package for a targeting call on the sidelines. You see what he did with Dak?
Yes, I saw that yesterday. That was one. I wonder how he got that.
Yeah,
I thought it was a pimple.
Yeah, it was not. That was
not a pimple. It was a
straight battle scar. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be easy. Now, I didn't spend a whole lot of time with a helmet on. I was mostly on the sidelines when I played. But
it's instinctive. You're not thinking of
you're
just instinctive.
It's just a habit. It's like whenever you I don't know, you're just knuckle punching somebody. You do it like 4 times in a row, or you give them a little shoulder pat. Yeah, I don't know. You just hit him like that. There you go.
Oh, look at those instincts.
Yeah.
That was quick. You had to be
better than Dak's instincts to get out of the way.
That's a man. That's a man that has a baby around him. Look how fast you move. Well, that one moved fast.
All right, back here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Tostitos, getting fans back in the game. Oh man, we are having some trouble.
I'll just hold it.
There you go. Mentioned this going into the break. The big play for the Cowboys defensively has not really been the best calling card for Dan Quinn's defense. There have been a ton of improvements on that side of the football. The big play has not been one of those. So how do they avoid that against Kansas City? Is there a weakness that you've seen in Kansas City's offense that can take away from the big play or maybe downgrade it from there? But is there anything, Heckma, that stands out to you that where the Cowboys defense could try maybe something new to try and defend Kansas City.
Well, you talked about the targets for Hill and Kelsey. Kelsey last year had 1,400 yards as a tight end, and it just that they want to target him. I believe trying to take Kelsey away immediately is going to be one of your best options. And also, with Isaiah saying about the offensive line, that if you can get that pressure, contain their running game, those aspects to their offense, you got to eliminate certain things. Mm-hmm. Hill, man, you just pray that he doesn't, because he can take it to the house anytime. And we saw that, was it 2017 at the end of the game on a Hail Mary, not even really a Hail Mary pass. He takes it and he scores in 2017 at the last minute to go into halftime.
I hated that play so
Wasn't that
much.
crazy?
Oh,
and it's just one of those plays that he can make it anytime. And so you got to try and cloud this guy, put him in a situation where when he gets the ball, you get him down immediately.
You have to pick one or the other, right? I mean, you can't double both every play, and I think it seems like teams are taking more chances, just saying we'll take our chances with Kelsey, which is no fun in its own right. But Tyreek Hill is he can run past anybody on any given play, wreck the game, embarrass you with his speed. So, that's what it seems like they're doing. And Kelsey's he hasn't had the production that he's normally had so far, but
he's heating up.
He broke out Sunday night though.
Yeah, he's heating up.
And the Cowboys, tight ends have been a challenge at times, but Jaron Kearse has been a nice addition in terms of that, counteracting that.
And Jordan Lewis, what he was able to do against Kyle Pitts was really impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Pitts took its lumps early. I mean, he was catching a couple balls in those opening drives, but then it was shut down from then on out. So, I mean, I'm not comparing Kyle Pitts at the moment to Travis Kelce, but Kelce, at some point, I think they're going to be on a similar level. I think Kyle Pitts is that type of player. But right this second, Kyle Pitts is not right this second Travis Kelce.
Some weight on.
You said what?
You got to put some weight on.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
He's coming out of Florida.
I got a question for you guys. As far as Dan Quinn is getting a lot of accolades for his defense.
Yes.
But then in the same breath, and I feel like this is disingenuous when people say, oh, this Cowboys defense can only be effective if they have a lead. Do you feel the same way about their defense? Do you feel like, okay, they are effective when they play with a lead and then you give Dan Quinn the kudos that he's getting right now? I don't think those two things go together.
I don't think it's entirely fair because Minnesota showed that they can stand up and win a game for you against a pretty good team, or at least a pretty good offense.
Right.
But I do think there's evidence for the vast majority of this season, they have had the benefits of we can tee off because we got leads coming. But it all works together because the Cowboys are posting a lot of these points because they're tied for second in interceptions in the league. I mean, they got 14 picks. They're right up there in terms of takeaways. They're doing their part to help the Cowboys offense as well. It is kind of tied together. I don't think it's entirely fair, but that is, you're right. Like, that's kind of the narrative right now, is that they're protecting the defense.
You can look at 2 of the last 3 wins and say that. Patriots as well. You came from behind in that game too. I mean, I know you played with a lead late and then basically gave that up and went into OT, but I mean, the Patriots and the Vikings game, I think you could take as examples of the defense playing well enough for you without a big lead. Every road game so far this year has been decided by a single score. It's been every road game. So keep that in mind going into Arrowhead. But it's been decided by a single possession every single game so far this season on the road. That doesn't say that the Cowboys have been playing with the lead. They've only lost, one of those games? And that was the first one to Tampa Bay?
Yeah. The one thing is it's been hard to test their run defense this season. It's been very hard. And Denver was able to do it because they jumped out early and it didn't go well at all. But this is a totally different matchup. We just talked about how they're not going to hand the ball off 30 times. So
I guess their luck runs out. Maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back. Now the Cowboys were able to pass over a healthy Saquon Barkley and a healthy Christian McCaffrey, and now they get Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, they're going to get Clyde all right. In terms of the big play, to address your question, you can't stop these guys from having big plays, but you can limit them. That's all, I'm just going to go ahead and say that. It's like facing freaking Muhammad Ali and think you're not going to get jabbed. You can limit how many times you get jabbed, but you're going to get jabbed. So they're going to get their big plays. You have to pick your poison. So I think teams are starting to take the approach in terms of trying to find a way to double Hill some way, somehow. He does so many of his routes are across the field. And if you're playing man, you can't. You can't play man. He's too quick. He's too fast. He's the fastest dude in the league, hands down. He's too quick. He's too fast. So you can't jam him at the line of scrimmage because he'll shake you up. If you play off, he's going to run right by you. If you try to double him, then somebody else wins. So it's hard to stop him. So you're going to have to say, hey, I'm going to put one man on him, and I'm going to put the far safety and the near safety. You guys both have to keep your eyes on him. So you're literally trying to have 3 guys stop one person. So that's why these other guys start having big games.
So you're playing 2 safeties high?
Yes, man. I guess you have to.
Okay.
If you play single high, understand this through film study. I know you watch film too. You can't guard him, man.
No.
It's impossible. And if you play zone, if you play a single high zone, he's just going to run across the field to the gap over the other corner.
Right. So essentially, the blueprint is that 2 safeties high, and instead of going man, you're passing them off.
You have to pass them off, and you have to your point. The game, Tennessee. What Tennessee did so well against these guys was get hands on guys as they crossed their zone.
Yeah.
They were physical with them. Get my hands on you. You're going to run by me, but I'm going to push the crap out of you or jam you up a little bit, just to knock you off just a little bit as you go into the next zone. And then guess what? Our communication has to be such that the next zone that you go into, my guy needs to be on his P's and Q's and be ready. We need our guys up front, 4 guys up front, to try to get home as much as possible. It sucks that Gregory, it sucks that D-Law's out, but we've been able to generate pressure without it. But our 4 guys are going to have to try to get home because these guys don't like to accept the fact that his guys are covered. He hates it. And that's what's got him in trouble this year. A lot of those the things that make Patrick Mahomes great are the same things that make him turnover prone.
Yeah.
So those great plays, those throws across the formation, across coverage, all those kind of things, those become jump balls. And as long as you have guys that are being physical, and as long as you have guys that are staying in their hip pockets, and you're like a pinball going down the field, those opportunities will present themselves. But just understand, your character has to be such that you have to be able to bounce back and put the last play away because they're going to get their big plays. It's going to happen. Same way that we get our big plays. It's going to happen on both sides.
2 things to play devil's advocate to what you just said. 1, 2 high safety is something that a lot of defense have done against the Cowboys this year, right? And in the Cowboys offense.
To their demise.
Because the Cowboys have picked them apart because of the weapons, because of the options, and the balance in terms of their game.
Or they'll just turn and hand it off and pound you with Zeke and Tony.
Exactly.
We have that option.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kansas City has the extent of that option, but I think they have an option to do that as well, especially with as bad as the Cowboys' run defense has been at times this year. Because you think about it both ways. Sure, it's not Zeke, it's not Pollard, but Edwards-Helaire and Williams can still run the football efficiently. I mean, we saw what Denver did. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams can run the ball efficiently as well. So 2 high safety, it definitely concerns me if there's those options as a whole from an offense. Secondly, you mentioned being physical. Has there been a consistency of physicality on this Cowboys defense this year? Because I don't know if there has been. We've seen moments, Denver for instance, where there's people standing in the gap hesitant to be physical at the point of attack. So are those 2 things that the Cowboys defense can afford to whiff on? Because I feel like if they whiff on it, then
no. Yeah, whiffing, no. Whiffing's not an option this week. So let's go ahead and address that,
say that
right now.
Point.
I don't know where I saw it. I was actually meant to send it to you guys yesterday. There was a highlight. Somebody put together a highlight. I think it was just the NFL, sounds of the game for Tyreek Hill. And it was them just following him around and his releases. Oh, no. And he's just, excuse me. He's literally just saying, excuse me. He's saying, excuse me, every single time. Oh, no. He's killing guys off the line of scrimmage, and he's laughing about it, right? Him and the DB are laughing about it, and if the ball doesn't come his way.
It's like Andrew Luck saying thank you whenever he gets a hit, or like good job whenever he get hit.
But, I mean, so you can't whiff. You have to – these guys have to be intent on making sure that everything in practice this week is hands-on. All our DBs, hands-on, line of scrimmage, getting these guys, freaking get a jam, right? If you don't get a jam, the next man gets a jam. Bump him off his straight. He's going to run across. He's like a little pinball where he literally would just weave his way through. And as long as Patrick Mahomes has time back there, he will sit there and hold the ball and wait. If you play zone, if you play too high, right? If he has time, he will literally just run across from one zone to the second zone to the third zone, all the way across the field out the back end. He's coming out the back chute. right? Or if you try to go single high, now you're trying to pass stuff off. You're taking the attention of that one safety and saying when he crosses the field, try to cut him off. Well, then what? Now you got these other guys that are getting free. So it's going to happen, but you have to limit it. And I think the only way that you can limit it is by being physical and staying in the hip pocket. Whenever the ball is in the air, they're going to get their catches, but it better be contested, because if you allow these guys to get the confidence to just catch the balls freely or try to play cover 3 and play soft or cover 4 and play soft, it's going to be a long day.
And you're saying hip pocket. That's just closing.
Yes,
closing that hip.
Yeah.
So, but I like what you're saying, and playing the devil's advocate in this situation is good, because you saw what Denver did versus us, and they were effective in that. They were passing off CD. They were passing off Amari. But again, those guys were not healthy. We saw that, and it boded well for you. But then the next opponent that steps up and tries to do that, they burn them. The same thing. The difference is, and you pointed out, it's our running game. Yes. I guess on paper right now I can see Dan Quinn going with 4 guys, 1 linebacker, and 6 DBs because he has the safeties, he has the DBs. So I'm sure Jordan Lewis is going to play damn near the whole game. Obviously, we know Jerron Kearse is going to play the entire game, but that's the only approach that you can take. And I know they're going to switch it up, too. They're going to switch it up as the Chiefs play a lot of trips formation. And those screens that you're talking about, you go around, the guy step back, and next thing you know, Tyreek Hill takes the ball, and you're still there. Bumping them off of the line of scrimmage, being physical at the line of scrimmage is going to be important. Now, what does that also get you? If you whiff, like you said,
can't whiff.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Totally.
Randy Moss hand.
So that's a big time gamble.
It is.
The other thing they'll do too is to try to get Kelsey going. They'll line him up right next to Tyreek Hill, and like we just talked about, he draws so much attention. Now Kelsey's free and can kind of win his matchup that way. There was a stat from CBS, I think, that cover 2 and cover 4 have been the most popular coverages against them for a reason. You really can't do anything else because of that speed element. But to your question, I don't think physicality has been a problem for this defense this season. Actually, I think it's kind of been their calling card.
And you only pointed out one game, though.
I did.
He only had one game.
And it was, yeah.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
But they can't. You guys are right. Like, they can't miss tackles. I mean, I think they had 14 missed tackles against Denver. Dan Quinn said it was like 3 or 4 last week. Yeah. So much better, so much more sound, and so much more physical.
This has to be the most physical game. No doubt about it. I don't think that.
More so than New England?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why Tennessee just disrespected Kansas City like that, not only because of the pressure, not only because of the bad decisions by Mahomes, but they hit the crap out of you.
They wiped their faces.
That's the thing. What's the culture of what's their identity in Tennessee?
Physical.
We're gonna out physical you.
Well coached.
On both sides of the ball.
Anybody that plays Tennessee, you know you're coming out beat up.
Yeah.
Right. You're
going Vrabel style.
Old Vrabel, right? You're gonna get beat. The crap's gonna get beat out of you offensively, defensively, special teams. We're hitting you in the mouth if we don't do anything else. You're gonna leave bloody and bruised. That has to be our approach because Kansas City doesn't like that. These is like the I almost use a fraternity. It's like the Kappas of the fraternity.
Oh wow!
These are like the pretty boys, right? These are the pretty boys of the league. Now they're nice and they're clean and they can make plays, but they don't want to get hit. They don't want to get hit.
Are you in a frat?
I'm not a frat. I'm Dread Fight Dread.
How you just call the Kappas the pretty boys?
They are the pretty boys. They're known for it. They walk around with mirrors and everything else.
You call them softies?
No, not soft. Not soft. Just pretty boys.
He'll get us home. Oh my God!
It's Q Day, so I think we're okay. It's Q Founders Day today.
Is that what it is? That's what it is. Right, well, you threw that out on time.
My boy Spice let me know that this morning. But no, man. But you want to hit these guys. And I don't think outside of the Tennessee game, they haven't been hit, and I don't think they like it. I really don't think they like it. I don't think they respond well to it. So our guys need to fly. Donovan Wilson, strap him up. Kearse, strap him up. Right, KZ. Don't do what you did a couple weeks ago. Strap them up.
Gotta get in it.
Okay? I need everybody out there strapped up. Micah, this is your time to freaking unleash it, dude. Put your juggernaut helmet on and run through somebody's soul. Vander Esch, I haven't seen a wolf call all year. I seen one wolf call. That was after Jalen left. I need the wolf call out because we need all 250 pounds of you running through somebody's chest cavity this game. We have to out-physical these boys to make them second-guess anything quick underneath. Coming at you.
Yep, there it is.
All right, and defensive line-wise, is where it's going to start. Up front, we have got to apply that pressure, and we've got to relegate, have our 4 guys up front, or however we're going to switch this up, 3-4 guys up front. Well, we got to get physical. We've got to get penetration, and we've got to get home. But you point out Micah. Micah can be a big difference maker in this game.
Yeah, he
Run
really could.
through somebody's soul.
Yeah,
I love that.
I like it.
I want to take that and make it a cow bite. Aaron?
Yeah.
Cow bite
While we
before
still
you
got
leave.
you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Before you leave, let's make it happen. All right, let's take our second break. When we come back, how does Dallas get pressure with this offensive line from Kansas City? We'll talk about it next here on Talkin' Cowboys.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with...
And I'm Jay Novacek, and we're both with...
United Ag and Turf, the official tractor provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
So, if you need a tractor to bale some hay, a mower to cut some grass, or a gator to get some chores done...
Get a John Deere at United Ag and Turf.
And then, let's get to work.
Hey, Jay, that's my line.
Well, not today.
Get to work with a John Deere tractor package that's just right for you and your budget. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10. Free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Whether you're watching from home or you're cheering in the stands, with Essilor lenses, you can see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts and see what Essilor can do for you. See more, do more, Essilor on Talkin' Cowboys as he cleans the screen. Clear eye view. See more, do more. Those Essilor lenses.
It was like a javelin on the mic push.
Did you like that?
Went
That was aggressive. That was aggressive.
You kept the physicality up, much like this Cowboys defense needs to.
You understand what I'm. You pick up what I'm putting down.
I'm picking it up. All right, real quickly before we wrap things up, Kansas City tackles in one word from each of you. Offensive tackles for Kansas City have been
trash.
Pepe Le Pew.
Okay. Yeah. I would probably go a little bit under okay. I'd probably say not adequate, but
actually, I mean,
inadequate.
Isaiah mentioned their 2 rookies on the interior. They've been part of the strength of their line,
Humphrey and Smith,
and they've had injuries on the tackle spot too. Like Rimmers has been out, right? So
yes,
he's
on IR.
Yeah, I mean, look, going back to the Super Bowl, like Heck mentioned, like it's been a problem,
Trey Smith out of Tennessee, he's playing the right guard spot. Creed Humphrey, who was one of the more touted interior offensive lineman from this last draft out of OU, is playing the center spot, and he's been actually really good.
Orlando Brown, they got veterans on the end caps, but
but they haven't been great though.
Well, they got one end cap. Kyle Long is out still.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think that was their game plan initially. Let's get some young guys on the inside, or obviously except for the guard from New England,
veterans,
put some vets on the outside.
Yeah. And Kyle Long has been on the PUP list for quite some time now. He's expected to return soon, but still no word on whether or not it'll be this week or not. So, without Randy Gregory, without DeMarcus Lawrence, again, how did the Cowboys generate some pressure? I'm going to start with Isaiah on this one because I feel like we have something coming.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with the Heckma train in terms of putting Parsons on the end for
Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Wait a minute. Newsflash. Here it comes.
Hey, back door.
Here it comes.
Hey, for this game.
What?
For this game.
What?
Reason being, this guy out of any quarterback that we've faced so far this year can hurt you the most if he gets outside the pocket and you don't have somebody running after him. Our defensive linemen won't catch him. We have some really athletic defensive linemen. Our current guys that are playing won't catch him. So you need somebody that's going to put some heat on him. Patrick Mahomes does not like getting hit. He does not. And he does not do a great job with ball security. We've seen that this year. He runs with the ball in one hand. He's not worried about ball security. He's worried about the big play down the field. And that's why I think if you have a 240-plus pounder guy who runs a 4.3 chasing after him, it can cause him some issues and give us the opportunities. If Parsons hits him, chance for fumble. If Parson puts pressure on him, like we know he could, then we get those opportunities down the field for those inerrant throws that Patrick Mahomes that he likes to make because he likes those 50-50 balls. He thinks his guys are just that much better than the defenders.
Damn sure does.
So you're on board, obviously. No surprise there.
Wouldn't that be funny if Heckman was like, you know what, I think he's better as a linebacker.
No, I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that.
Well, the thing is, because of their lack of a run identity, you don't need a true just linebacker in this game. You need people to get pressure, and you need DBs.
I don't know. I really like the way that he had a head of steam, though, against Atlanta, and we're able to kind of control that edge a little bit more coming from the second level, more so than I think he had done previously in that specific mindset. If they brought him on a blitz on multiple occasions, I think that could work as well.
Yeah, I do as well. However, majority of the day, right? Think about, let's just go ahead and just say that Kansas City is going to have 60 snaps. It's safe to say that. So Kansas City has 60 snaps. Of those 60 snaps, how many times will he really affect this game at that level? They're not running a lot of stuff within that 5-yard range.
So then blitz him.
Well, and that's what Dan Quinn mentioned when he was asked about to the effect of he's generating a ton of pressure. How do you feel? Do you feel encouraged that you're using him the right way? You guys know how much I love Dan Quinn press conferences. He said, what an awesome question. I guess that's saying, you doing a good job, Dan, or are you a dumbass?
No.
But he pointed out that he's going vertical a lot from the linebacker position as well. But you guys' point's well taken. Like, this is a matchup where you have to get to Pat Mahomes.
In the conversation, I'm going to steal this directly from Nick Eatman, and he said, "Man, I want to use Michael Parsons like they use Troy Polamalu." And I don't see nothing wrong with that. Just a guy that you line up everywhere and he can be effective from anywhere on the field. Last week against Atlanta, the one rush where he even tweeted Amari Cooper, "I told you my dead leg was better than yours," and he went dead, and the guy didn't even put a hand on him. That's just the kind of speed and athleticism that he presents from the edge. And even when he takes a bad angle, you see the speed that he can do to still get to the outside and not give up contain. He's just a special guy, and coming up against a player like Patrick Mahomes, I see him different. I see him as a quarterback that can extend plays with his legs.
Yes.
No, he does not want to get touched, but he can extend plays with his legs, and they go to that scramble drill, and that's where he will make a mistake if you're touching him already, right? And so he's going to try and extend the play, get something across his body, and that's where he was nightmarish at the beginning of the season trying to do this. And also, just looking at the role that they're getting on, look at the games that they've played, look at the teams that they've beat. So a lot of that may be fool's gold up until this point, and I believe that this Dallas defense, which has been underappreciated to a certain degree, can actually put their stamp on this game, and that be the reminder, because we hadn't seen an offense like this since Tampa, as far as the weapons that they have, but we hadn't seen a team move formations like this either since Minnesota or maybe against the Patriots, where they're doing so many different things out of different formations. So, look, it's just going to be a chess match, and if Dan Quinn is worth his salt, you're going to see it this week.
Yeah. I agree with you on the teams and the potential fool's gold for Kansas City. We'll talk about that a little bit more on Friday, but their last 2 wins have been really impressive against Green Bay and then against the Raiders.
Green Bay without?
Oh, that's right. It was without Aaron Rodgers,
and they only scored 13 points.
Come on. Come on.
Okay, that's right. That's a good point.
It might be a little Miami Vice in this.
I forgot about that. Good point. Good point. We're going to talk about that on Friday, but tomorrow we preview the Cowboys offense.
Yes, sir.
I think the Cowboys offense could have another big day. I've been looking at this Kansas City defense, and I think there's some holes, man. I think there's some holes. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Hope you had fun on this one. Lots of excitement around this matchup heading into Sunday, but for Chris Beam, Rob Phillips, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you tomorrow on Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!